See, the next chapter is hydrogen. So basically we know what is the configuration of hydrogen. As we know, atomic number of hydrogen is 1. So atomic number of hydrogen is 1 and the electronic configuration is 1h1 because general element can be written as the element X with atomic number Z below and atomic mass A above. See, in this case hydrogen atomic number is 1 and also the mass number for hydrogen is also 1. So hydrogen can be represented as H. 1 is atomic number and also atomic mass is 1. See, the hydrogen is basically, it is the most abundant element in the universe. So hydrogen is the most abundant element in the universe and electronic configuration of hydrogen is 1h1. We can also see in case of hydrogen atomic number is 1 and we know the number of protons is same as the atomic number. So number of protons in this is 1 and also we can see that as the atomic mass is the sum of number of protons plus number of neutrons. So atomic mass is given there how much, 1, and number of protons is 1, so number of neutron in hydrogen is 0. So hydrogen is the most abundant element in the universe. Now see what are the isotopes of hydrogen. So the isotopes of hydrogen are basically 3 isotopes of hydrogen are, one is protium and one is deuterium and one is tritium. See, so basically protium is, isotopes are basically having same atomic number but different mass number. So protium isotope is basically 1h1. It means the atomic number in case of protium is 1 and also atomic mass is 1. And we can see that atomic number is equal to 1 and atomic mass is equal to 1. So number of protons is 1 and number of protons is 1 minus 1, atomic mass minus number of proton. So number of neutron is 0. And protium is present in the highest abundance. So out of these 3 isotopes, protium is found in the largest abundance, which is 99.985%. So highest abundance of isotope of hydrogen is protium. We can also represent it 1h1 or P. Now see the next isotope of hydrogen, which is deuterium. As we know, in isotopes the atomic number will remain same. In this case the atomic mass will be 2 and it is represented by D, capital D, and its percentage abundance is 0.0156%. The next isotope of hydrogen is tritium. Again same atomic number 1 but mass number in case of tritium is 3. We can also represent it by T. And its percentage abundance is very less. And also the third isotope tritium is radioactive in nature. So it is radioactive. So out of these 3 isotopes, protium, deuterium and tritium is radioactive in nature. And the lowest percentage of tritium, so the lowest percentage of isotope in hydrogen is for the case of tritium. When we compare the ratio of protium and tritium, so basically for 10 की power 18 atoms of protium, there is only 1 atom of tritium. So these are the ratios of protium and tritium abundance. So basically highest percentage of abundance is for protium, which is 99.985%, and tritium is among 3 isotopes is radioactive in nature. So tritium is radioactive in nature and with lowest abundance. For 10 की power 18 atoms of protium, only 1 tritium atom is present. So tritium has the lowest abundance. So 3 isotopes we have studied for hydrogen. One is protium, one is deuterium and one is tritium. Now see, how these isotopes differ in their physical and chemical properties. So these isotopes differ in their physical and chemical properties. See how. So basically these isotopes differ largely in their physical and chemical property. When we compare the bond energy, so bond energy is highest. Bond energy in highest in case when there is bond between the hydrogen and tritium. Then the bond energy lies for the case of hydrogen and deuterium. Then the bond energy for the case of hydrogen and hydrogen. So basically we can see that the bond energy for the hydrogen and tritium is highest, as we can see that because electrons are more symmetrically bonded, and electron density is not too much variable. So basically there is symmetrical electron density between hydrogen and tritium, due to which the bond energy of hydrogen and tritium is high, then hydrogen and deuterium, and then hydrogen and hydrogen. So basically the highest bond energy is in the case of hydrogen and tritium. We can also say that as bond length is inversely proportional to bond energy. So bond length is inversely proportional to bond energy. So the order of bond length will be, we can say that the order of bond length, as bond energy is highest for hydrogen and tritium, therefore bond length is lowest for the case of hydrogen and tritium, and bond length is highest in the case of hydrogen and hydrogen. Now see the position of hydrogen in periodic table. So basically the position of hydrogen in periodic table is controversial, because some properties of hydrogen matched with alkali metals, and also some properties of hydrogen matched with halogens. Therefore the position of hydrogen in the periodic table is controversial. As we know, the electronic configuration of hydrogen is 1s1. So basically the electronic configuration of hydrogen match with the electronic configuration of alkali metals. As we know, the electronic configuration of alkali metal, general electronic configuration for alkali metal is ns1. So basically in the valence shell there is only one electron in case of alkali metals. Also in the case of hydrogen, valence shell is 1s, and there is also only one electron is present. Therefore there is resemblance in the property of hydrogen and alkali metal. So first resemblance is the resemblance of the electronic configuration. So basically the electronic configuration of alkali metal matches with the electronic configuration of hydrogen. So they have same electronic configuration. See, when hydrogen loses one electron, then hydrogen convert into H plus ion by the loss of one electron. So hydrogen converted into H plus ion by the loss of one electron. In the same way, when alkali metal like sodium loses one electron, it forms unipositive ion. So hydrogen after loss of electron forms unipositive ion, and also sodium after loss of one electron forms unipositive ion. So they have same electronic configuration, and we can see that the electronic configuration is same for alkali metal and hydrogen, and after loss of one electron, hydrogen forms H plus ion, unipositive ion. In the same way, alkali metals after loss of one electron, it also forms unipositive ion. And the point of difference between alkali metal and hydrogen is, the size of H plus ion is very small. While the size of alkali metal is large. So basically the size difference is the point of difference between alkali metal and hydrogen, because the size of H plus ion is very small, while the size of alkali metals we know large, because they are on the left side of the periodic table. See, now we can also see the resemblance in the properties of hydrogen and halogens. Halogens group number 17. See, as we can see that when hydrogen electronic configuration is 1s1, so configuration of hydrogen is 1s1. When hydrogen gains one electron, the electronic configuration becomes 1s2. The electronic configuration becomes 1s2. So 1s2 is basically the electronic configuration of noble gas helium. So the 1s2 is the configuration of noble gas helium. Now see, as we know, halogens have general electronic configuration of ns2 np5. So when halogens gain electron, then configuration becomes ns2 np6. So the configuration ns2 np6 is basically for noble gas. So this is the electronic configuration, general electronic configuration for noble gas. So we can see that hydrogen, after gaining one electron, converts into noble gas configuration. In the same way, halogens also gains electron and converts its electronic configuration into noble gas. So this is the point of resemblance between the hydrogen and halogen. Now see the next resemblance. We know when halogen gains one electron, it forms uni-negative ion. Which we called halide ion. So halogens forms halide ion after gain of one electron, which is uni-negative ion. In the same way, when hydrogen gains one electron, it forms H- ion, which we call hydride ion. So it also forms uni-negative ion. Halogen also forms uni-negative ion, and hydrogen also forms uni-negative ion. So basically, the position of hydrogen in the periodic table is controversial, because some properties of hydrogen resemble with the alkali metal, while there is some point of difference between alkali metal and hydrogen. Because the one point of difference is size of H plus is very small, while the size of alkali metal ion is large. There is also point of difference between halogen and hydrogen. So basic point of difference is, as we know, hydrogen all exists in diatomic form H2. Halogens also exist in diatomic form. So basically, in diatomic form, HH bond energy is very high. So HH bond energy is very high as compared to halogens. So basically, the position of hydrogen in periodic table is not fixed, controversial. See the next point. The next point is regarding the position of hydrogen in periodic table. So basically, the position of hydrogen in periodic table is not fixed, as some of its properties resemble with alkali metal, whereas some properties resembles with halogen. Therefore, the position of hydrogen is not fixed in the periodic table. So basically, what we have studied till now, we have studied the isotopes of hydrogen: protium, deuterium and tritium. The highest abundance isotope is protium and lowest abundance isotope is tritium. So lowest percentage is present in the case of tritium, and tritium is the only radioactive isotope. What is the ratio of abundance of protium and tritium? We know for 10 raised to the power 18 atoms of protium, only 1 atom of tritium is present. And also we have compared their physical and chemical properties. So we have compared the physical and chemical properties of these isotopes. So basically, highest bond energy for which? Highest bond energy for hydrogen and tritium bond, then for hydrogen and deuterium, and lowest bond energy for hydrogen and hydrogen. And then we have studied the position of hydrogen in periodic table. So basically, the position of hydrogen in periodic table is controversial, because some properties of hydrogen match with alkali metals and some properties of halogens match with hydrogen. So basically, the position of hydrogen is not fixed and controversial. Now see the next topic, we are going to study the preparation of hydrogen. So next topic we are going to study the preparation of hydrogen. So first we will discuss the laboratory preparation of hydrogen. See. So laboratory preparation of hydrogen is basically hydrogen gas is prepared, as we know when metal reacts with mineral acids. When metal reacts with mineral acids, then it liberates hydrogen gas. So basically when metal reacts with mineral acids like HCl, H2SO4, like HCl, H2SO4 inorganic acids, so the metal liberate which gas? Hydrogen gas. See, in which case hydrogen gas is liberated. So basically there is position of hydrogen in the reactivity series. There is position in the reactivity series for hydrogen atom. So the position of hydrogen in the reactivity series, the metals which lie above hydrogen in the reactivity series, the metals which lie above the hydrogen atom in the periodic table, so they will release hydrogen gas. The short reactivity series you may learn, so potassium, sodium, calcium, magnesium, aluminium, zinc, iron, lead, then hydrogen. So this is the short periodic table, short reactivity series if you want to learn. So highest reactivity is for potassium, then sodium, then calcium, then magnesium, then aluminium, then zinc, then iron, then lead, and then hydrogen. So basically the metals which lie above hydrogen will liberate hydrogen gas, and the metals which lie below hydrogen, for example, the metals which lie below hydrogen are copper, mercury, gold. So these are the metals which lie below hydrogen. So when these metals reacts with mineral acids, like copper, silver, gold, mercury, when these metals react with mineral acids, they do not liberate hydrogen gas. So basically the metals which lie above, for example, potassium, sodium, calcium, magnesium, aluminium, zinc, iron, lead, when they react with mineral acid, they will liberate hydrogen gas, and the metals which lie below hydrogen will not liberate hydrogen gas. So this is the concept based on the reactivity series. C. So basically metal place above hydrogen in the reactivity series will release hydrogen gas. And for example, zinc and HCl. So basically the metal which lies above. So we can see that potassium, sodium, calcium, magnesium, aluminium, zinc, iron, lead lie above hydrogen. So these metals will liberate hydrogen gas, while copper, mercury, silver, gold lie below hydrogen. They will not liberate hydrogen gas when react with mineral acids. See, zinc and iron. Zinc lies above hydrogen, and iron is also lie above hydrogen. So basically when these metals react with mineral acid, they liberate hydrogen gas. So basically there is oxidation of zinc, as zinc changes into +2 from 0 to +2, and iron changes from 0 to plus. So basically in this case iron is Fe2SO4 thrice, so iron in +3. So there is oxidation of both metals. Zinc changes from 0 to +2, increase in oxidation number, and iron changes from 0 to +3, increase in oxidation number. So first preparation of hydrogen we have discussed, the laboratory preparation when there is a reaction of metal with mineral acids. So basically the metals which lie above hydrogen in the reactivity series will liberate hydrogen gas, and which lie below, like copper, mercury, silver, gold, they will not liberate when these metals react with the mineral acids. Now see the preparation of hydrogen from bases. See, there are some amphoteric metals. So amphoteric metals are basically those metals which can react with acid as well as base. See some amphoteric metals like zinc, amphoteric metal, aluminium also amphoteric metal, lead also amphoteric metal, and tin is also amphoteric metal. So basically when these amphoteric metal reacts with alkali, means base, so they will liberate the hydrogen gas. As zinc reacts with NaOH, when zinc reacts with NaOH, it forms a soluble complex. It forms a water soluble complex which we call sodium zincate. So when zinc reacts with NaOH, it forms a water soluble complex called sodium zincate. See, in this case again there is oxidation of zinc, as oxidation state of zinc changes from 0 to +2. So basically there is increase in oxidation number. Whenever there is increase in oxidation number, then we say here oxidation takes place. So zinc undergoes from 0 to +2 oxidation state, therefore there is oxidation of zinc, and it forms a water soluble complex when zinc reacts with alkali and liberate which gas? Hydrogen gas. See next, again aluminium also form water soluble, complex with NaOH. So basically when aluminium reacts with NaOH, so basically oxidation state in standard form is 0, and oxidation state of aluminium in this compound is +3. Now we can see that again when amphoteric metal like aluminium reacts with base, which gas is liberated here? Hydrogen gas is liberated, and the compound formed here is also sodium aluminate. Like sodium zincate, it forms sodium aluminate. In the same way, again the next amphoteric metal which reacts with acid as well as base. So when lead reacts with base, like NaOH, it again liberates which gas? Hydrogen gas. So now it forms which compound? Sodium plumbate. Again see, as lead in standard form, so oxidation state is 0. Lead is in standard form, therefore oxidation state is 0. Now see the oxidation state in this compound. The oxidation state of lead in this compound is +2. So basically we can see there is also increase in the oxidation number. So in all these three reactions, the similarity is which gas liberated? Hydrogen gas is liberated when amphoteric metal reacts with base, and there is an increase in oxidation number of amphoteric metal. So basically two preparations of hydrogen we have discussed. These are the laboratory preparations. So first preparation what we have discussed is the reaction of metal with dilute mineral acids. So basically when metal reacts with mineral acids, so they liberate hydrogen gas. Only which metal will liberate hydrogen gas? Which lies above hydrogen in the reactivity series. For example, zinc, magnesium, aluminium, iron. So these lie above hydrogen in the reactivity series, therefore they liberate hydrogen gas. And the metals which lies below hydrogen in the reactivity series, they will not liberate hydrogen gas. For example, copper, silver, gold, mercury, they lies below hydrogen in the reactivity series, therefore these metals will not liberate hydrogen gas. Now we are going to see the commercial and industrial preparation of hydrogen. So the next is commercial or industrial preparation of hydrogen. See, so basically the commercial or industrial preparation of hydrogen is by using electrolysis of water. So basically when we do the electrolysis of water, we obtain hydrogen gas as a commercial or industrial product. So when we want on large scale, on commercial scale, the preparation of hydrogen, then how we obtain hydrogen? By the electrolysis of water. So basically, when there is electrolysis of water, so basically hydrogen and oxygen gas is liberated on electrolysis of water. So on electrolysis of water, we get hydrogen gas on commercial scale. So basically, electrolysis is carried but using platinum electrode. So basically, the electrolysis process for the preparation of hydrogen gas by using water. So basically, electrolysis of water is carried out but by using platinum electrode. See, what is platinum electrode used here? So basically, platinum electrode is a inert electrode. So platinum electrode is basically a inert electrode, and inert electrodes are those electrodes which do not participate in the reaction. So platinum is a inert electrode and do not participate in the reaction. So basically, platinum electrode is used for the electrolysis of water to obtain hydrogen on commercial scale. Platinum is an inert electrode, do not participate in the reaction. It only provides its surface. It only provides its surface for transfer of electron. So it only provides its surface for transfer of electron. So basically, electrolysis of water is carried out by using platinum electrode to obtain hydrogen on commercial scale. Platinum electrode is basically inert electrode, do not participate in the reaction. It only provides its surface for the transfer of electron. See, so basically we take distilled water. For the electrolysis, and these two electrodes, cathode and anode, cathode or anode, are made up of platinum inert electrode. Now the cathode terminal is connected with the negative terminal of battery, and anode terminal is connected with the positive terminal of the battery. Do not confuse, this is the combination of electrolytic cell. Do not confuse the electrolytic cell with electrochemical cell. So always remember the connection in electrolytic cell. Always positive part of battery is connected to the anode terminal, which is positive in electrolytic cell, and negative terminal of the battery is connected to the negative terminal, which is known as cathode. So this is the apparatus of basically an electrolytic cell. So in this container, electrolysis of distilled water is carried out using platinum electrode, and we obtain hydrogen on commercial scale. See, which reactions takes place? So basically, at anode, when there is electrolysis of water, at anode there is basically loss of electron. So at anode there is loss of electron. We can see that the oxidation state of oxygen in this compound is -2. The oxidation state of oxygen in this compound is -2, while the oxidation state of oxygen in this compound is 0. So basically we can see there is increase in oxidation number. And when there is increase in oxidation number, means there is oxidation. And at anode always oxidation takes place. At anode always there is oxidation. So basically 4 electrons now balance. O2 gas releases increase in oxidation number. So balance hydrogen by using H plus ion. 4 hydrogen, 4 H plus, and 4 H plus to maintain charge neutrality. 4 electrons are lost in this process. Now see the cathode reaction. Cathode is basically gaining of electron. Now we can see that. So cathode is basically when we can see that the oxidation state of hydrogen is +1, and here oxidation state of hydrogen is 0. So basically there is decrease in oxidation number. So decrease in oxidation number means reduction, and at cathode reduction takes place. So Water changes in the form of H2 gas. Now balance. Two electrons gains. To balance the charge, we use 2 OH minus. To balance the charge of 2 electron, we use 2 OH minus. Now atoms are also balanced. 4 hydrogen, 2 oxygen, minus 2, minus 2. So there is loss of electron and there is gain of electron. Now add these two reactions. When these two reactions are added, because there are 2 electrons, there are 4 electrons. So multiply this equation by 2. Multiply the second equation by 2 and then add. So 4 electron cancel out. Now it converted into 2 to the 4. 4 plus 2, 6 water molecules. O2 plus 2H2 plus 4H plus and plus 4OH minus. Now we can see 4H plus and 4OH minus will form 4 moles of water. 6 moles are on left side and 4 moles are on right hand side. So basically 6 minus 4 is 2 water molecules on electrolysis gives 2 moles of H2 and O2. So this is the commercial preparation of hydrogen gas. We have seen at anode oxidation, loss of electron and increase in oxidation number, and at cathode decrease in oxidation number, gain of electron, H plus to balance charge, OH minus to balance charge. So net reaction we get hydrogen gas at commercial scale using electrolysis of water using inert electrode. So this is the commercial preparation of hydrogen gas.